What I'm hoping to do with our audience is to teach you how to make geopolitical connections based on what we understand Bible prophecy implicates. Okay, I think it's really important. So here's the series of questions that I kind of want to ask. Number one, United States is training Palestinians. Okay, 5,000, by the way. Now, mind you, let me get the story straight. These are people that are directly tied to the Palestinian Authority, correct? We're not talking about an unorganized group. Okay.
Right.
So this is not like a group of Judea, Samaria terrorists. We're actually talking about, okay. All right. So here's my question. And well, I'm going to ask a series of questions. Number one, we're training 5,000 Palestinian Authority soldiers. Well, let's just say that.
Okay.
What are we training them? What is it that we are teaching them? Okay. And listen, the question, I don't want it to appear to be a basic question. So I know what we're training them with, right? We're giving them military tactics. We're showing them how to use specific types of weapons. We're teaching them deployment mechanisms. Okay. All that stuff, fine. Yeah. But what are we training them to eventually use it for? The second question, and perhaps more significantly than even that question, is why are they doing that in Jordan? Right? That's even more significant to me. I thought for whatever reason my brain was calculating Syria, and I went down a whole different route.
Syria. So
yeah. Okay. So the geopolitical implications of that are also as severe, if not more severe. Okay.
Yes.
Because let me just tell you where my mind was, and I'll tell you where it's now shifted so that you kind of get an idea. My mind was, if they're training Palestinian soldiers in Syria, the only way that they're able to train them in Syria is if they obtain permission from Russia to be able to do it, because everybody knows that Syria is, for the most part, for all intents and purposes, Russian sovereign territory. At least it gets treated that way, because you don't enter into any part of Syria anymore without Russia's knowledge of it and explicit permission to do it. Because whether or not anybody wants to admit it, Russia has unofficially declared Syria as being their sovereign territory, no longer just the borders, but for the most part, the whole land. That shouldn't surprise us. The biblical implications of that, we've known that for a long time. Yeah. So that's where my mind was shifting, right? But now where I'm going with this is it's even more significant. Because for those that might not know, the responsibility of the political environment of the Temple Mount, as well as the policing strategy of the Temple Mount, is not under the purview of the IDF.
Right.
The Israeli Defense Force does not have that responsibility, although they do take a lot of those responsibilities on. Yeah. It is Jordan. Jordan has the responsibility of the management of the Temple Mount. So here's my question.
Yeah.
If we're training Palestinians in Jordan, which, by the way, let me make myself clear, Palestinians on many levels are Jordanian and Syrian rejects. I'm not trying to be harsh. Yeah. This is not me trying to be, racist or whatever. I'm simply saying that Palestinians have never been wanted by Jordan.
Right.
That has been their official stance, and they have never been wanted by the Syrians. This is why they fight so hard for the Palestinians to have their own individual state, because they don't want to deal with them. There's a lot of reasons for that, by the way. There's it goes beyond geopolitical implications. There are religious implications. There's implications that deal with some of the factions within Islam and so on and so forth. But going back to that question, if we're allowing the United States of America in Jordan to go and to train Palestinian soldiers, what do they have planned? Yeah. Honestly, what are the implications on the Temple Mount? The purview of the Jordanians is that. And then I have another question about that, because this becomes even more significant. Yeah. How about this question? There have been two major peace treaties in the last 50 years that have existed within Israel. Yeah. The most significant of those, of course, being Egypt. What happened in 1979 when the peace treaty was made with Egypt, but almost equally as significant, 1994, when the peace treaty was established between Jordan and Israel. Right. So how in the world is there a solid, virtually unbreakable peace treaty between Jordan and Israel, and with the knowledge of that existing diplomatic relationship that is fostered between the two nations, how are they allowing on their sovereign territory the training of Palestinians?
Yeah.